have one additional storyteller, will be Sylvia Gonzalez Anders.
Hello, thank you for being here and hearing our concerns since Siskamani won't give us the time of day. I was born to hard-working immigrant parents. I'm a Mexican-American citizen. I joined the United States Air Force at the age of 18, and I was one of the first groups of women to actually have to do a man's job. To prove that we could do a man's job, I had to carry a 50-pound toolbox across the flight line to prove that I could still do a man's job. And there was lots of other things like that. You know, after my active duty, I worked in 5 VA hospitals taking care of the patients that came back to us after the wreckage of war. And we were always critically understaffed, but we did the best we could with what we had. And we took care of our veterans. While I was doing that in 5 different VA hospitals, I was a military spouse for another 20 years. So veterans like me were promised care, and the attacks on these programs are a betrayal to our service. And speaking of deported veterans, I was just at a retreat talking to these deported veterans and hearing their stories and hearing the horrific conditions that they have had to live to and go back to countries that they never lived in. So it's a real problem. But the savings that I had for being my entire life working and saving, that money is evaporating just for the sake of market manipulation for wealthy people to make more money. Yeah. The American dream is what I was told and what I believed. But, you know, it's really hard to live with this reality that the American dream is not for people like me. I was told that if I worked hard and I assimilated, I could succeed. But is it just for the rich, or is it not for people like me? A minority, a woman, a veteran, a senior, and now a cancer patient. What are we going to do to protect the services that I worked for, that I thought was my entitled work that I had put in Social Security and Medicare? Is the cruelty the point, or for people like me? Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm just a little emotional.
Ma'am, and what was your name again? Sylvia. Sylvia, thank you. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your service in the United States Air Force. I was in the Navy, but we like the Air Force too. I think the American dream was supposed to be for everybody. I think unfortunately with this administration and many of the Republicans in the United States Congress, it's become more about how do you reward donors that donated to their campaigns, folks with a lot of money, folks like Elon Musk and other billionaires who support so many members who have been elected to the United States Congress, to the House and the Senate. So it has become more about the wealthy and less about regular folks. But we can beat them. Don't be defeatist about this. Don't give up. Because the reality of the situation is there are more of us than there are of them. Now, we just got to convince some of our fellow Americans who have been voting for them that it's not in their best interest to do that. It just isn't. And when you have an administration that is looking out for the wealthiest and not folks that are working so hard every single day to put food on the table and pay their rent, that's not a path for success for our country. It's not sustainable. We need a country where where people can, have one job, not have to work like Corey talked about, 2 shifts in a 24-hour diner. So thank you for being here. This really does matter, and it makes a difference. And when we do this the next time, I know we cut it off when people were trying to sign up for this, but if we get a bigger venue and a bigger venue after that, by the time we get to the next election, we can win this seat here in this district. And we can win races up and down the ballot.